I want to go ahead and tell you that Caleb was late to the party. I told him that the college football playoff committee was just goofy and that it should be formulaic. And at the time, Caleb was, I don't know, he's okay with it. And now we've seen that it's goofy. They want to move one up and one down each week to make it must-watch TV. Because if it were chalk and you knew that, just like I can predict the AP poll 9 times out of 10, Caleb, I'm sure you can as well. If it's just going to be chalk, you're not watching TV. I think it is all about the ratings. It's all about the advertising sales. And that's just ultimately what the television show is about. Now, if you want to say that a committee should be put after the year and decide one time in one show only, I can kind of get on board with that. But that's not what this is about. If there were a BCS formula in place, you would see it on Sunday morning and you would have no reason to watch on Tuesday night. Caleb, it's every bit what this is about. And I thought that Clemson losing, but increasing their college football playoff odds truly made the whole format look kind of stupid.
Yeah, well, I think this actually validates my point, which is that the college football playoff and the expanded playoff is stupid. Because even if you had a formula where you could come
validation, is that what that is?
Oh, yeah, where you could win me over is this. I did defend auto bids. I can't defend auto bids at this point. Because here's what happened over the weekend. Clemson entered Saturday 9-2 at a 38% chance of making the college football playoff. Then they lost to South Carolina. So they should have been out. Well, Miami lost to Syracuse in an upset, finishing the year 10-2. Syracuse finishing 9-3. By the way, Miami losing, that fulfilled Dave and I's prediction that no matter how good they were, Mario Cristobal was going to find a way to screw it up. Yep. And he found a way to screw it up. So what happens? Clemson, as a 9-3 team, is propelled to the ACC title game to play SMU. Beat SMU, and they're automatically in as an auto bid. It is here. So it is, you can blame one of three things. You can blame the expanded playoff, you can blame the auto bids, or you can blame what I'm going to blame, Dave. And here's where I'm going to go. And I'm going to rely on this. This is the stupidity of mega conferences without divisions. It's the dumbest thing in the world. Clemson, SMU, and Miami were in a fight to play for the ACC title this year. Top 3 teams. Not one of them played the other one.
Ouch.
Like, that's insane. In the SEC, Georgia, by default, for some random tie-breaking scenario with a bunch of 10-2 teams, is going to go play Texas for the SEC title. The scheduling imbalance in these conferences is insane. And when you have it with the 12-team playoff and with auto bids, you have a crazy situation where Clemson can lose and fall to 9-3 and increase their odds to reach the college football playoff. That's absolutely ridiculous. And by the way, this is my problem with the expanded playoff in general. I don't like seeing 9-3 teams go play for the national title. I don't think you should have a shot.
If we see a 9-3 ACC team, then just shut it down. Just shut it down. If we see them in the college football playoff, shut it down. 9-3 Alabama, I can kind of get behind, but not a 9-3 ACC team. Rick Terry Jewelry Designs. They want to be your jeweler. Looking for affordable game day jewelry, a Tennessee tradition. RickTerryJewelry.com. RickTerryJewelry.com. So, Caleb, do you hate the fact that a 3-loss team could make it, or that a 3-loss ACC team could make it?
Well, I hate that a 3-loss team could make it, but I think Alabama should because you have a 12-team playoff. A 3-loss ACC team making it is absolutely insane. No, you're right. It's absolutely ridiculous. There is no way a 3-loss ACC team should make it. So then, Dave, the question becomes, if a 3-loss ACC team shouldn't make it, should there be 2 Group of 5 champions going? I mean, right now, I guess theoretically, I didn't even think about this, but, you know, this weekend, you have UNLV playing Boise State for the Mountain West Championship and Tulane playing Army for the American Athletic Championship. What if Tulane, a 9-3 American team, gets into the playoff and Boise State, and then you ice out Clemson? I mean, this is what we're talking about here. This is what we're dealing with. Is a 9-3 ACC team, you are right, could get in. I thought the playoff was bad enough where a 9-3 SEC team would get in, and I would have a problem with that. But you're setting it up now where a 9-3 ACC team can get in. This is absolutely laughable. You're insulting all of our intelligence here to say that Clemson is deserving of a playoff bid.
What do you think this evolves into? Is it 4 mega conferences, kind of like it is now? Or I think it evolves into this. You have basically the Big Ten and the SEC are the American and National League, like in Major League Baseball. I think that's what you're going to see.
I think so too.
And then I think what you're able to do there is you're able to play non-conference games that aren't boring as all get out. If you enjoyed the Kent State game, that's because you're a Tennessee fan. Nobody else enjoyed that. Even Kent State did, nobody else. So, Caleb, I think that's what it evolves to. The problem is you've got to cut out the ACC. You've got to potentially cut out the Big 12. You might cut out the Power 5 guys, but I don't have a problem with that.
I mean, at some point, you're going to have to figure this out and structure this better, because it is kind of insane right now. This is a warning we all had for mega conferences when mega conferences began, by the way. We all said mega conferences could create this situation, and they have. The scheduling imbalance is just too great. Yeah. And so I'm with you. It'll probably have to be the SEC and the Big Ten. By the way, sidebar, John Adams and I spoke last week, Dave. Go watch some Kent State games. We both think they're point shaving. Like, we think they're actually point shaving. It's no one's that bad and no coach is that dumb. So it's we're pretty convinced. But aside from that, yeah, I this is the thing. I don't like college basketball because I think the NCAA tournament just totally devalues the regular season with 68 teams. But I think there's a more consistent through line in how they're selecting their teams than what's happening with this college football playoff. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Where
I have no problem with that.
Yeah, they never set up a situation where you just want to lose. Now, Tennessee did throw the SEC tournament last year, but that had to do with them not wanting to play, not because they just straight up wanted to lose. They just didn't want to try that hard. So, look, I am sorry. This is absolutely ridiculous. Here's what I think should happen, Dave. You just bring up the American and National with the SEC and the Big Ten. Take the top whatever teams at this point. Don't even have conferences. And just take the top 12 if you're going to do this.
Oh, no. I don't have any problem with that. That's what I would do. And to that point, if you want to vote on our poll question, college football playoff should have a formula, stick with the committee. I'm wondering how many people will say stick with the committee. Maybe some of you like to watch the television show. Do you find the television show entertaining, Caleb, but just as far as compelling television?
I mean, it gives us something to talk about every Wednesday morning when we're trying to put together the show. That's about all it does, isn't it? Yeah. And I mean, guys, guess what? Spoiler alert, we're going to talk about it. I mean, we have to. It's our job.
Yeah, I think what happened is that the last time they did something very innovative was the BCS, right? And Tennessee won the first national championship under the BCS rules. And what happened either that year or the next year, that people figured out the formula. And you knew that if your team won, it would increase their odds by blah. And you knew if your team lost, it would increase your odds by this. And there was no excitement leading into the week. Now, from purely a pop culture entertainment standpoint, you have the AP, you have the stupid coaches poll, you also have the college football playoff committee. You have something that's churning interest all the time. And as long as they're doing that, they're not losing. We're looking at the college football playoff and saying, man, it's kind of a bleep show, if you know what I mean. And they're looking at it like you're talking about us each and every day.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it's also disincentivized playing as I talked about, playing for the conference title games. I mean, Dave, don't you think Tennessee is super happy they're not going to Atlanta this week? Don't you think they love the 3 weeks off?
Well, and I was getting ready to go there because Travis said on our chat board, and please click that thumbs up button and give us a comment. And yeah, go ahead and share that. What did Travis have to say?
Northern media chatter is that Ohio State threw the Michigan game to skip a title. It's a lie, but still circulating. Travis, I'm not so sure that's a lie. The more I think about it.
That, to me, is a lot less egregious than throwing the SEC championship game.
throwing the Ohio State Michigan game?
It's still a regular season game. If you're playing for a conference championship, you can't throw that, unlike what you say.
No, I've never been. When I say throw, I don't actually mean lose on purpose. I mean simplify your game plan to the point where you don't have to exert any effort. And if you do lose, you lose. Okay.
That's throwing it.
I'm not so sure that Ohio State didn't do that. Now the question becomes, the only reason you think they didn't is because the fighting at the end of the game. Maybe that's why they were fighting them. Maybe they threw the game and they're like, who are you guys to like brag? We just gave you all this win because we didn't want to go play in the Big Ten title game. I mean, look, I follow Georgia Twitter. Dave, they're not happy that they're going to play in the SEC title game this week. They're not. They're like, we'd rather just get our home game. And now they have to choose between, and think about the position you're in if you're Georgia. You're 10-2. You have to choose between winning your conference title game and getting a bye, or losing and potentially being knocked out of home field advantage. Whereas if you didn't go, you would just be locked into home field advantage. I mean, you would rather not go. They are punished for winning the tiebreaker.
Will there be an SEC championship game in 5 years? Last look brought to you by Campbell, Cunningham, Taylor, and Hahn. Look at me. No contacts, no glasses, LASIK surgery. I was at the doctor and they were just bragging about how well I could see thanks to doctors Campbell, Cunningham, Taylor, and Hahn.
To visit cctis.com. The information you need is easy to access, and setting an appointment is as simple as clicking the tab. Doctors Campbell, Cunningham, Taylor, and Hahn, and Eye Care Optical at cctis.com. Simply the best.
All right. There will be an SEC championship game in 5 years, Caleb. Yes or no?
Yes. There will be an SEC championship game for the same reason, Dave, that many newspapers still print papers, because their business model is so embedded in it that they can't break from it. The SEC's business model, including their contracts with ESPN and stuff like that, is embedded in having a championship game. They can't actually not get rid of it. They have to figure out how to make it mean something. Josh Pate has suggested this, and I think this is what's going to happen. I think somehow they're going to figure out a way to incorporate the conference title games into the college football playoff in the future. I don't know how.
I'm good with that. A loser doesn't get to go. I'm cool with that. I think that's a pretty good idea. Our poll question is now, I'd rather blank have a home college football playoff game or win a conference championship. I'd rather win a conference championship. And Caleb, I know you're going to disagree with that. I know you're going to disagree with that, but at least I know I've got a trophy. If I win a home, I'm not even guaranteeing that you'll win the home college football playoff game. But even if you do win it, it doesn't mean you're winning anything that particular season other than the ability to get in the Final Four.
Winning a conference championship at this point is like winning your division in the NFL. Okay. Do you think anybody you try to win your division just for the home field advantage aspect, Dave? But come on, do you think the Giants in 2007, your Cowboys won the division that year? I don't hear your Cowboys be like, y'all may have won the Super Bowl, but we won the NFC East. So how about that? Okay. Who said that? Okay.
For those complaining about the voices, at least that wasn't the Bill Cosby voice from earlier.
No. But Dave, do you ever say that to a Giants fan? Do you ever be like, huh, you may win the Super Bowl, but my team won the NFC East that year, so we're the division champions.
No, okay. You don't. I'd rather blank have a home college football playoff game, win a conference championship. Okay, let's assume, and go ahead, and I don't have time to reset the poll question, so just give us your comments if you don't care. I'm going to say you lose the home college football playoff game, that you lose it, you know you've lost, as opposed to winning a conference championship.
Well, then obviously you'll take winning the conference championship. Obviously. Because, yeah, then you're still going to the playoff. Yeah, but also at that point, that benefits your college football playoff outlooks, because would you rather win a conference championship and have the potential to win it all, or know you're going to lose the home college football playoff game? So come on now. Like, yeah, in that situation, obviously you take winning the conference title. But the overall focus is just the college football playoff. Yeah. Conference titles are dead. I know a lot of Tennessee fans were telling me in the middle of the season, Dave, I don't want to go to Atlanta. I don't want to want to waste that week. And Georgia fans are not happy about going to Atlanta. They don't want to go.
Asia Cafe, treat yourself to authentic Asian cuisine, handcrafted from guarded family recipes, 5 locations to choose from. And the awesome part about asiacafe.org is they have that 6-to-1 Brazilian cocoa energy booster premix instant white coffee. It's fantastic. The Lim Dynasty is in Knoxville, Tennessee. That is asiacafe.org. So for the record, you think that there will be no SEC championship game, that there will be one that has implications of the playoffs, or they'll just be status quo because it's a ton of cash?
I think it'll be status quo, but they're going to find a way to make the conference championship games mean more. I don't know how. My argument is you make the conference championship winner get an automatic bye and a home game. But if you do that, then you devalue the bowls, and they don't want to devalue the bowls. So
I think the new bowls are going to be the conference championship games. I think they're going to be completely meaningless.
Oh, I'm with you. Oh, I could see that, but that they will. First of all, these bowls should. Why are we still doing bowl games, guys?
I have no idea.
Like, honestly, you have an expanded playoff now. Like, this is just ridiculous. It's laughable.
I'll be honest with you. I covered 10 bowls, and about 6 of those were for newspaper. I pre-wrote pretty much everything. Just went on the trip and sent my story in each day that I'd written back in Knoxville. I mean, you didn't need to, nobody needed to be there. I mean, bowl games were just bizarre.
Yeah, no, you're right. They are. It's always been it was always a laughable gimmick in college football where, like, oh, you finish your regular season, now you got to wait a month to play this game. You know what I mean? So I don't know. This whole thing is laughably stupid. I'm just going to say it.